Donington Park.
You'll be coming thick and fast this afternoon. You really won't want to really leave your screens, will you?
Well, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing it back. I really am. It's just amazing, great fun.
We've talked about the circuit. It really is, as the cars head off behind us for their warm-up lap. Tell me what we should be watching with this circuit. Is there any corner in particular that we should be really looking out for?
Well, the Craner curves are a real challenge. So you go around Redgate for turn 1, and then you head off down the Craner curves and there's into the old hairpin. It's a pretty daunting challenge for any driver, and I can guarantee we're going to see some action there. And also at the end of the straight here into the S's before the start-finish straight, there's always going to be some overtaking. The mini race this morning was epic.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic afternoon, I'm sure, of racing here at Donington Park. We will hand over to Dave Goddard, our commentator for this afternoon's actions. Thank you very much, Magnus.
Thank you very much, Colin. Good afternoon from me. Great to be here at Donington Park. The circuit bosses must be absolutely elated. Over 300 drivers competing this weekend. Good weather and a large crowd packing the stands and the grass banks around this flowing North Midlands circuit. The first race heading round on its green flag lap then. This is the Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship. Over 20 cars out on track for this one. We've got the newer MG ZRs and MGFs at the front of the pack, and the older Abingdon built cars in Class A for Abingdon, the MGBs and MG Midgets towards the back. In pole position is the bright green MG ZR of David Mellor. Led the first part of the first race for this series yesterday here at Donington, but dropped back to finish in 4th place. Alongside him on the grid is the car carrying our onboard camera for this race. That's Adrian Ray. He was yesterday's winner. Second row will be Adam Jackson, and it should be Stuart Phillips in his ZR. Unfortunately, engine problems preventing him from starting. Then we've got the first of the MGF, Stuart Plotnick in the white car, and Mark Baker, who won that class yesterday. Just going through the shot there in the green and orange car is the man we've already mentioned, number 2, Jim Bainham, who's been racing that same MGB for some 35 years now. There is Martin Wills, number 44. Now, he's changed cars. He was out in his ZR yesterday and finished in 3rd, but because he's changed cars, he's had to start from the back of the grid today in his MGF. And we'll see how he gets on coming through to look for a class win from there. On board with Adrian Ray then as the cars come down towards the chicane. The drivers weaving to warm up their tyres. David Mellor looking for another win. He's currently fighting with Adrian Ray in the championship for the lead of the Class Z for the ZRs. Class F is for MGFs, and Class A for the older cars, the midgets and MGBs further back. As the marshals stand in position with the yellow flags, the cars coming up to the grid then here at Donington Park for what will be a 15-minute race for our first race on this Motors TV live race day. Cars coming into position then for this, the Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship.
53 is Mark Baker in the other F, and then Simon Kendrick.
Cars on the grid then for our first race on this Motors TV live race day, the Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship. This will be a 15-minute race. David Mellor in pole position in his ZR with Adrian Ray in the similar machine, the navy and red car alongside him. Adam Jackson alone on the second row. No Stuart Phillips there. He's had to withdraw with engine trouble. Green flag being waved towards the back of the grid, waiting for the red lights to come on then, and this race will be underway over 15 minutes as soon as they go out. Adrian Ray looking for his second win of the weekend. It's time to go racing here at Donington Park. The red lights go out and they're away, and it's a good start by David Mellor heading down towards the first corner at Redgate. Adrian Ray trying to slot in behind, keeps it on the outside as they go into Redgate. They're going to be side by side, and Ray could be later on the brakes here trying to go round the outside. No, he's not quite going to make it. And Adam Jackson trying to go up the inside of both of them. Mellor leans Ray wide and Jackson is through. Great move there by Adam Jackson. Opportunist move into the lead as they go into the fearsome drop down the Craner curves for the first time. Stuart Plotnick in his white MGF is in 4th place ahead of Simon Kendrick. And then we've got Mark Baker. That's your top 6 as they head into the old hairpin for the first time. Adrian Ray squealing the tyres there in 2nd place. And what a start that was by Adam Jackson from the 2nd row of the grid into the lead. Number 5 is Stuart Plotnick, the former Lotus Elise racer, attacking David Mellor. Trying to move through for 3rd place there on the inside at McLean's, and he's going through. Mellor, the pole sitter, goes down to 4th place. Simon Kendrick is in 5th, was leading the MGF class in yesterday's race until he had a spin at the Craner curves, which dropped him back down the order. He's aiming to make up for lost points here today. Mark Baker, yesterday's class winner, in behind him. That's Nick Golhar in his black and yellow ZR, and the green and grey machine of number 83, which is Phil Walker. Spreading out, battling side by side down the exhibition straight. heading down into the chicane, the Robert chicane, the right-left flick. Leading the way, it is Adam Jackson as they come round to complete the opening lap. Phil Walker battling with Nick Golhar, gets through there on the inside at the chicane. That move was for 7th place. There's Jim Bainham, he heads Class A, looking for his 100th race victory. 35 years he's been racing that same MGB Roadster. Took him till 2007 to win the MG Owners Club Championship. Attacking there, Martin Wills. He's coming through from the back of the grid in the yellow MGF, and there's Gordon Jeekins, his first race in a ZR today, switching from an MGF. He's got Brian Butler in behind him, but it's Adam Jackson who leads. He and Adrian Ray going clear at the front of the field. Stuart Plotneck in 3rd place, going very well indeed. He failed to finish yesterday's race, so he's making up for lost points as well. There is Bainham, Jim Basher Bainham, round the old hairpin. He's unbeaten in Class A this year, looking to make it 10 wins out of 10 as Plotneck side by side with Mellor as they go up into the right-hander at McLean's corner. From McLean's, climb up to Coppice, the very tricky near-blind double apex right-hander. Stuart Plotneck in 3rd overall, leading the MGF class, and Simon Kendrick goes through up into 4th overall. David Mellor seems to be struggling here. Now Kendrick will attack for the lead of the MGF category as they come down the exhibition straight past the big exhibition centre here at Donington Park. Mellor trying to move back up in the bright green ZR. He'll be wanting to go after his championship rivals in Class Z. He's tucked right in there behind the MGFs, and Kendrick takes 3rd place and the lead of the class on the inside at the chicane. Mark Baker's in behind them, and Phil Walker as well in number 83. This is cracking racing for 3rd place. The first 2 are away and gone. Jackson ahead of Ray. It's all about the 3rd place battle at the moment here in this Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club events. Plotneck has gone down to 5th place because Mellor has come through there on the inside. Again, he twitches a little. I think he may have tyre problems with that number 17 car. Phil Walker having a go at another of the S, and that's Martin Wills in there. He's come up like a rocket from the back of the grid. 3rd in yesterday's race ahead of Dave Mellor. He frustrated him all the way in the closing stages at the wheel of a ZR then, having switched to his MGF now. And not only is he up with Mark Baker, he's 4th in class and well into the top 10 overall. Out in front, Adam Jackson is still leading ahead of Adrian Ray. As David Mellor attacks Simon Kendrick. There are the 2 leaders heading up into Coppice corner. David Mellor on the attack, trying to move to defend is Simon Kendrick. They're both in different classes, but Kendrick wants an overall podium place. David Mellor really attacking him here as they come through this tricky double right-hander at Coppice corner. Plotneck in behind them, then Baker, Wills and Walker. Mellor's weaving about all over the place there. Simon Kendrick determined not to let him through. Baker covering the inside further back because he knows Martin Wills is there. He's now got ahead of Phil Walker. Mellor tries to get down the inside. He's not close enough to get the overlap on Simon Kendrick, who leads them through this fabulous 3rd place battle. Jim Bainham we caught a glimpse of there in the background. He's still leading Class A in 13th place overall. As David Mellor tries again, side by side as they come across the line. Has he got the power in the ZR to take the MGF? No, he hasn't again. Simon Kendrick frustrates his efforts. Martin Wills is coming through. He's got past Baker. He's trying to go past Stuart Plotneck as well. He's done it, going out of Redgate towards the Craner curves. And I think Baker's got ahead of Plotneck. He has. So 3rd is now Kendrick, 4th Mellor, 5th Wills, 6th it is Mark Baker. Plotneck has gone down to 7th, having initially run 3rd. Terrific battle here for the final podium place in this opening race, this Motors TV live race day for the Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship. David Mellor on the attack on the back of Simon Kendrick, but he's going to be on the outside for McLean's. Can he break later through at the exit of Schwantz Curve? He's got him around the outside going into McLean's. He got the better exit from the left at Schwantz Curve, and now Simon Wills is trying to come through and renew his rivalry from yesterday's race with David Mellor. He's got the inside line on Kendrick as they come through Coppice. He's got him on the inside up into 4th, and Baker wants a piece of this as well. The blue car with the white stripes. Looks like a little bit of damage. Oh, and that's Adrian Ray running wide onto the grass on the exit of the chicane. That'll lose him ground to the race leader, Adam Jackson. Mellor's got 3rd place. Then Wills, and Wills goes around. Tangles there with Kendrick. Stuart Plotneck goes over the gravel, avoiding them. I think there was some contact there on the run into the chicane between the 2 MGFs, and Martin Wills, having come up from the back of the grid, has got to do it all again. He's going to be back to square one. Can he get going again? I thought I saw a bit of damage on Kendrick's car as well. Yes. So there was contact between the two of them. Kendrick struggles on just ahead of Jim Bainham. Wills has got going again. There's damage to the front of his car as well. So there's clearly been a few contretemps in there between the two MGFs and their rivals in that third place battle. They've both got some bodywork damage, but they are going again. So Mark Baker will now be up into 4th place ahead of Phil Walker. 6th, it's Steve Williams in his ZR. But this has allowed David Mellor to get clear in 3rd. There is the leader, Adam Jackson. Had a few wins in last year's championship. We've not seen as much of him this year. It's been David Mellor and Adrian Ray fighting for the overall wins, but it's Adam Jackson who leads the way. 8 minutes of this 15-minute race still to go. So we are coming up to half distance in this one. Adrian Ray in 2nd. Here's a replay of what happened at the chicane. I think Simon Kendrick, just missed his braking point and tagged the back of Martin Wills. They both went off. The main damage was done when Kendrick hit the stationary car of Wills trying to avoid the gravel. Stuart Plotneck also has his race ruin, taking a trip over the gravel. Meanwhile, this is Adrian Ray. The previous lap running wide onto the grass there, just went too quickly through the chicane. I wonder if there's some fluid been dropped at the chicane there, and that's why a couple of cars getting out of shape. Well, there is Ray. He's still in 2nd place, but he's 2.5 seconds down now on Adam Jackson, who is leading the way. So we reach half distance in this 15-minute race then, and the two ZRs well ahead of David Mellor in 3rd position. And the leaders certainly getting pretty well strung out now. The ZRs at the front of the pack ahead of the MGFs in this Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship race. Just under 7 minutes to go then in this first race of this Motors TV Live race day for the Lancaster Insurance sponsored MG Owners Club Championship. And clear in the lead is Adam Jackson ahead of Adrian Ray, with David Mellor in 3rd. As we look back at some of the battles in the pack, Gordon G. Kings, number 19 there, going well on his first appearance in a ZR. Man from Spalding in Lincolnshire, previously raced an MGF, but he's ahead of the very experienced MG racer Nick Golhar there, was previously very successful in this championship in an MG Maestro of all things, when there was a very large and well-supported class for Maestros. Jim Edwards Jr., who appeared in the early 2000s in the BTCC in the production category, started his career in a Maestro in this division. There is David Mellor in 3rd place. It's Mark Baker in 4th overall now in this race for the MGs.
From Neil Howe, 2 and 76 their numbers.
Adam Jackson in a clear lead with 6 minutes to go in this Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship race. He's 2.5 seconds clear of 2nd placed Adrian Ray. They come up towards the right-hander at McLean's. The third place battle rather broken up by a tangle at the chicane earlier on. There is Adrian Ray fighting hard with David Mellor in the previous round at Mallory Park, but was thwarted on that occasion by electrical glitches with his ZR. Down the exhibition straight they go then, coming towards the chicane here at Donington Park. We thought earlier on there may have been some fluid dropped at this point on the circuit. Coming round to complete their 7th lap then. Through the right, the left at the Roberts chicane, then onto the Wheatcroft Straights, named after Tom Wheatcroft, who rebuilt this circuit, reopened it in the 1970s after its pre-war glories. British Grand Prix was held pre-Second World War here at Donington Park on a couple of occasions, and it's into the first corner, which is the right-hander of Redgate. It's a long right-hander, bit of mud and wet grass on the outside, so the drivers won't want to be running wide today. It's through the flick of Hollywood and down the treacherous drop through the Craner curves, the right, then the left, and then it's hard onto the brakes to get the car set up for the old hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Very tricky section of track, this one. Past the old bridge, originally spanned the circuit there, that's Starkey's Bridge, through the left flick and then climbing up again from the lowest point of the circuit into the left-hander at Schwantz Curve, named after motorcycle legend Kevin Schwantz, into the right-hander then at McLean's, and then onto what many people call the toughest corner on the circuit at Coppice. First apex is blind after this little rise into it, aim into the curb, that's apex 1. Then round into apex 2 and out onto the exhibition straight down towards the chicane for another lap. That is a lap of this Donington Park layout. So Adam Jackson is starting to catch up with some of the back markers, the older MGBs, and there's one MG Midget as well, Will Sharp. There he is, the lead car in that group, the black MG Midget, a former Porsche racer, Will Sharp. Missed yesterday's race, so had to start at the back. First car to be lapped, it looks like it's going to be the number 9 of Chris Flukes in the purple MGB GT there. A couple of tenths closed up by Adrian Ray on that last lap on our race leader, Adam Jackson. 2.2 seconds in it as they cross the line. There's just over 3 minutes of the race to go. David Mellor still in a safe 3rd place. Mark Baker leading the MGF class, and it is, as expected, Jim Basher-Bainham on top in Class A, as Adam Jackson had to flick his way around Chris Flukes there at the Craner curves. Now coming up to lap the number 11 of Chris Millard. Good to see Chris back out. He had an accident in yesterday's race, spun and hit the wall coming out of the chicane. As they cut their way through these wonderful classic MGB Roadsters and GTs in Class A for Abingdon, where these cars were built. Adrian Ray, just balked briefly there by Chris Millard, so struggling with the traffic here, Adrian Ray. They will be shown the blue flag by the marshals to warn them that the faster cars are coming up to lap them. Yes, Ray's got through now. He's got one of the MGB GTs there. I think that's the number 76 car, possibly, of Neil Howe. No, it's the number 4 of Pryor, in fact. That is James Pryor, who goes a lap down on the run into the chicane. James Pryor from Sussex. Adrian Ray in 2nd place then, the man from Leeds in the AMW Motorsport machine, chasing after his running mate Adam Jackson. So the 2 Yorkshire-based drivers will get a couple more laps then, just under 2 minutes of the race to go. Here's a scrap further back in the order. Steve Williams has got past Philip Walker into 5th place, and making a move for 7th, that's Gordon Jeekins, number 19, battling with the much more experienced Nick Golhar. You'll notice that Gordon Jeekins' blue car has got a novice cross on the back, the black cross on the yellow background. Everybody has to wear one of those for their first 6 races after getting their racing licence. Phil Walker makes a dive down the inside. That's a brave move into Redgate. He's taken Steve Williams back up into 5th position. They've got the MGF class leader Mark Baker ahead of them. Martin Wills, incidentally, on his recovery drive is down in 12th place, with the other MGFs battling with him after they all tangled up earlier on at the chicane. Phil Walker then in the car liveried a bit like the early 2000s MG ZS touring cars, raced famously by the likes of Anthony Reid and Warren Hughes. It's a livery used by the MG Le Mans team in the same era with their MG Lola prototypes. There is Gordon Jeekins, just caught a glimpse of that novice cross we mentioned on the car. So Adam Jackson then, looking for what I think will be his 2nd win of the season, comes round to start what looks like will be his last lap. There's less than a minute left on the clock in this race. Yes, the last lap board is out from the marshals on the start line, so one more lap of Donington Park for Adam Jackson. He's got a lead of 1.7 seconds over Adrian Ray. Just got to keep his nose clean around this final lap. It looks like he is heading for victory. Meantime, there is David Mellor, the pole sitter, making a poor start to this one and dropping back into that early, very lively 3rd place battle that all came apart when there was that tangle at the chicane, which left David Mellor on his own in 3rd position. 79 of Adam Jackson then. The blue ZR heads around the old hairpin for what will be the last time. Adrian Ray in 2nd place. They've lapped Will Sharp in his little MG Midget. I don't think Adrian Ray is going to catch Adam Jackson here. They head round the right-hander at McLean's for the last time. From McLean's, it's the climb up to Coppice. Just a couple more corners to go now for Adam Jackson. I don't think Adrian Ray is going to get close enough. Oh, and a bit sideways there. The race leader's got some oversteer there going into Coppice. I suspect his tyres are starting to go off in these warm conditions. Just got to keep it together through the chicane now to hold off his running mate Adrian Ray for a 1-2 for the AMW Motorsports Run MG ZRs. There he comes over the curves at the chicane, heading up towards the checkered flag. It's going to be a win for Adam Jackson, the man from Leeds, in car number 79, across the line to take the win. 2nd goes to Adrian Ray, separated by just over a second at the flag. It's going to be a distant 3rd for David Mellor from pole position in that one. Here he comes out of the final corner. David Mellor, a 4th and a 3rd. His results here this weekend won't help his championship chances, with Adrian Ray ahead of him each time. The MGF class is going to be won by Mark Baker, and they're still at it, these two, for 5th place. It looks like Philip Walker is just going to pip Steve Williams to the line for 5th position. Mark Baker is elated. 2 class wins for him this weekend in the MGFs. 7th place will be Nick Golhar. He beats Gordon Jeekins home. 9th is going to be Stuart Plotnick, recovering from his trip through the gravel, and the battered MGF of Simon Kendrick comes home 10th. Brian Butler 11th, and Martin Wills, in 12th place. And here comes Jim Bainham in car number 2 in 13th place. And he is going to take the 100th victory of his career. 35 years he has been racing in this very same car, competed in all manner of events with it. He's done historic racing in TVRs as well, but he's coming in to win. He's unbeaten in his class this year. 10 out of 10 for Jim Bainham in Class A, and his 100th victory here at Donington. Hopefully we can grab a word with him when he's back in the paddock. 2nd in Class A is going to go to Neil Howe in 76, and 3rd, a lap down, it will be Will Sharp in the MG Midgets. So congratulations Jim Bainham, congratulations Mark Baker, congratulations overall winner Adam Jackson. Check out the overall result then. Adam Jackson the winner by just over a second ahead of Adrian Ray. David Mellor in 3rd place, then Mark Baker the top MGF. Philip Walker in 5th, just pipping Stephen Williams to the line, completing the top 6. So, an entertaining first race of this Motors TV live race day then from the Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club Championship. Adrian Ray pushed hard, but couldn't quite catch his teammate Adam Jackson. Ray tried to take the lead around the outside, but there was a bit of rubbing between himself and Dave Mellor into the first turn. That allowed Jackson to take the lead, leaving David Mellor to fight it out with the MGFs. A bit further back, Adrian Ray making a slight mistake out of the chicane, ran wide onto the grass, and that lost him ground to Adam Jackson at the front of the field. Mellor had a spirited battle with Simon Kendrick, Stuart Plotnick, and also Martin Wills up from the back of the grid, but it all came apart at the chicane as Wills, Kendrick and Stuart Plotnick tangled up, removing the threat of the MGFs. There's some good battles in the Class A cars as well. Will Sharp fighting it out there with the number 4 of James Pryor for 3rd in the category. It was Adam Jackson who sped to victory, just over a second clear of Adrian Ray, and Jim Bainham taking his 100th victory and his 10th of the season in Class A. Let's head down to Colin in the paddock.